Hi, it's Christine here from Red Hot Dance Fitness, and we have a brand new segment for you called Mailbag Monday. I get tons and tons of questions, fitness questions, nutrition, choreography, things about Red Hot Dance Fitness, potential instructors having questions. And what better way to answer them than with a weekly segment that we'll post on YouTube and on our website called Mailbag Monday. So here's the first edition. If you have any questions at all, I encourage you to let us know, because this is where we're going to be answering them directly. You can email us, of course. You can post on any of our social media channels, post on our Facebook page, hashtag us on Instagram, tweet us your questions, post right on this YouTube video below or on our vlog below, and we'll be sure to answer them in an upcoming episode. So for today, I have two questions that need answering, and these are questions that we picked because these are very, very common questions that we get all the time. So the first one has to do with choreography, and this is actually a couple questions that we combined into one, because we always get questions about, do we create choreography? Do you have to follow it 100%, or our instructors? How often is choreography released? How do instructors get choreography? On and on and on. So to better answer all those questions, I figured I'd take you through my process, or our process at Red Hot Dance Fitness, and it never ends, this process. So let me take you through our choreography process. So it all starts with the music. I have tons and tons of music in my library, and I'm constantly trying to find what's coming out, what's new, what's hot, what's not. And I listen to various Vivo channels. I listen to satellite radio. I'm really doing a lot of research on who upcoming artists are, and staying connected with television and movies as well. So there's a lot of music to pick from. We never have a shortage of good music to use. And once in a while we do have a retro song that gets recommended. And that's another thing. We also have instructors that recommend songs that they hear about, and participants as well, that you can just send us an email and we'll put that in our queue. So music goes into a queue that kind of has to get evaluated on whether it's usable for class, and if so, how it's usable. And what I mean by that is, obviously if it's a ballad, it's most likely going to be a stretch. If it's, depending on the tempo of the song or the feel of the song, it could be a warm-up. It could be an isolation song. It could be a groove down. It could be a single song where we use that as a standalone song. It could be used to teach more choreographed routines, or it could be a performance song. And those are the songs, if you've taken classes, the very end, that kind of builds all the choreography into a routine at the very end. The culmination of a really fun, hot class. And that song has to have a particular feel to it. It has to have a certain magic to it in order for it to be a performance song. And so again, it has to be determined how it can be used. So once that's determined, then the music is broken down. I mean, every nuance of the song, verse, chorus, bridge, all the syncopated rhythms, and everything's broken down. I mean, that song, I pretty much hate a song before I even teach it. So I over listen to it and really break down the song fully. Then it's time to choreograph. So I usually have a good number of ideas before I go into the studio and choreograph. And from there, I, again, decide if it's going to be something that's really highly choreographed or something that's a little bit more basic. Sometimes we have something that's basic but that has a couple levels that you can put onto it to kind of lengthen that choreography to make it last a couple classes. So that's where it's all creative. Now, doesn't end there, because if you have ever done what we call choreography in the industry, you know that if you are short on time and you haven't had a chance to get your routine really together, you get to class, you kind of practice it in the car, or you made it up on the way in the car, and that's why it's called choreography, and it usually doesn't work. Not only is your class frustrated, but you're kind of feeling a little off, because it just doesn't work. So we never do any kind of choreography. We want it to be tested, and we want to make sure it works and it's doable for all levels, because we get beginners in our classes and we get people that have been dancing for a really long time that want to be challenged and don't want to be bored. So it's tested in class. And if you've ever had the pleasure of taking my class, you know that there is some testing done on certain songs, that some choreography isn't always, it doesn't always work. I mean, I've tested it in the studio. It's not choreography, but, you know, we come up with choreography and you think it's going to be so easy to pick up, but, you know, teaching myself in a mirror is not as easy as teaching an all-level class. So again, another reason why we test it. So I tested in at least 1 or 2 classes. It needs to be tweaked about 75% of the time. It's tweaked in some way or another. Sometimes it's completely revamped. Sometimes there's just little tweaks here and there. So then once it's tested in at least a couple classes, I know we are good to go. We go in the studio, we film, then it goes into editing, compression on the website, post it up. So it's ready for instructors. And that's every Friday. Every Friday, a new video is released to instructors, and so the cycle begins again and again. It actually just never ends, right? Because while I might be filming one video, I'm already working on the next week's choreography. I'm already saying choreography now. So yeah, that's the cycle. It's just never ending, constantly going. And you know, there's so much music to pick from that sometimes we do put a bonus video in there that's an extra song. And then the first Friday of every month includes a new warm-up and a new cool down. And that's 4 songs, 4 additional songs per month. So you have an active warm-up, your isolation song, your groove down, and your stretch. So we put those on up there, and all the videos can be used by instructors, whether you're just looking for ideas, or you want to add something new every week, or if you want to put something, you know, in and take something out. Some instructors change stuff every 2 weeks. It's really up to instructors. So it's just there as a resource for instructors to, you know, have plenty of choices, because there's definitely songs that you may not like and you don't need to do those songs, but, you know, a lot of choices for you. So that's how that works with our choreography. And we have an instructor website that instructors have access to, hundreds and hundreds of choreography videos, because we've been doing this for a couple years now, so we've built up a pretty good library. And you can search by artist, song, genre, all that kind of stuff. So lots of resources for instructors. So I hope that answered all your questions about our choreography. The next question is a more general question about fitness. And this question gets asked a lot about just what time of day is the best time to work out. And, you know, there is lots of research that supports what time of day is the best time to work out. But my first answer to you is always going to be whatever time you get it done. Because if you are not a morning person, and I tell you this Harvard study shows that working out first thing when you get up in the morning is going to burn the most calories, but you're never going to do it, then it's not the ideal time for you. So it's a very personal matter. So I want you to figure out what time works best for you, that you're going to consistently get it done. And that's going to be the best time for a workout. Now, that being said, like I said, there's a lot of research that supports all different times of day. There's a lot of research that says first thing in the morning. You have less chance to make an excuse, right? Nothing can get in the way, except, you know, hitting the snooze button. But, you know, there's research that says first thing in the morning. Personally, I don't like first thing in the morning because I haven't had an opportunity to eat, and I find that I get a better workout when I'm fueled. So I could do a quick workout. I could do like a 15 to maybe 30-minute workout on an empty stomach, but I get my workouts in mid-morning. I feel the best when I do a mid-morning workout. I feel like I push myself the hardest and I get the most from it. Maybe it's an evening that's best for you. Now, there's also research that proves that mid-afternoon, now for most of you that work, mid-afternoon is just not going to be a time for you that's doable. But for those people that have the ability to work out whenever they want, research shows that especially weightlifting, you're going to have the most energy and intensity to be able to lift at your best between that 2 and 5 period. So again, research shows so many different, as soon as they come up with one study that says this is the ideal time, they'll have another one that says this is the ideal time to contradict the other. So again, my key to you is the time that you're going to get it done. So I hope this video helped you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Mailbag Monday.